Alrighty, this is our first interview here. Um, so this is Interlight Paranormal. We're doing our first interview tonight. Excited. We have no idea what we're doing, but we're going to give us a try. So I'm Scott Talbert, Interlight Paranormal. Our guest tonight is Jeremy Brown from Interlight Paranormal, and he's been paranormal for many years. And we're going to talk here for a little bit. He's going to explain a little bit about himself and the paranormal and what got him involved in paranormal things like that. So, how's it going, Jeremy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, we're supposed to have Earl tonight, and he ended up having to work, so it's just gonna be us. But so yeah, this new interview we're gonna be doing is gonna be a little bit of a mixture of talk radio, possibly leading up to it eventually. But we're going to try the Skype for a little bit and see how this works out. And so yeah, Jeremy, I know you've been with me for a pretty good while, and I think I started Internet Paranormal like in 2010. And I know when I met you, I think the time I really met you was back when we were part of the Halloween haunted house.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, like 2009, I believe. I think because after my mom passed away, and that's when I got invited by our friends Randy and Lisa, and
Yep.
you came over there and you called me and said, Scott, you ought to start a group or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's when I got Interlight Paranormal started up. And I know you were with another group, Ghost Hounds, and you've been with other groups, and you've actually had your own group, I believe. So, yeah, Jeremy, if you want to start off by, one question I had for you. I have a couple of questions that I guess the first is that what got you involved in doing this, and what was the first thing that, got you interested in doing the paranormal, I guess?
Yeah, sure. I'll try not to ramble too much.
I'll ramble.
Are you getting Are you getting any feedback?
No.
Okay.
Are you hearing feedback from me?
No, from me. I didn't know if I'll try to turn my volume down a little bit.
Yeah.
Hope you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. But yeah, I'll try to keep to the point here. I guess I've always kind of been interested in it. I guess it goes back to shows like, Unsolved Mysteries, and how some of the stations would have these specials every once in a while that talk about ghosts, and that kind of got me interested. And of course, movies like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. Yeah, that's probably one of the first ones. Ghostbusters.
Yeah, so after that, just kind of fast forward around, let's see, 2004, 5-ish. This new show comes on called Ghost Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching it, and I was just blown away because I didn't know people actually got together in groups and went out and investigated. So that really got me interested, and then I took a ghost tour in Gainesville one year, and rest is pretty much history, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same too. Yeah, that's like, myself. I started my dad. He that was our thing for my dad and I. We used to, on Friday nights was Unsolved Mysteries. And that was the one show that I really loved to watch, and Robert Stackman, he had the coolest voice. He was like real spooky, but I love watching them. The ones I love was when the ghost ones popped up. I was like, wow, the ghost, man. And back then it was very rare that you would hear about ghosts. I remember some of the first ones was that girl, the Wyrics. I forget what her first name is, but I've actually met them before, and they came out with that movie and the documentary about haunting in Georgia, and that's one of the first one that got me started, like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I know myself, I just wanted to see what else is out there, because sometimes life can be pretty boring. You just want to see what else is beyond what we are, and things like that. So, but yeah, what's your? I guess the second question I have is, out of all the places that you've been to, what's the most memorable? I guess that stuck in your mind is maybe probably your favorite one. I guess.
Wow, that's a hard choice there.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to narrow it down. There's been so many. Oh man, I gotta think about that. I guess, well, memorable would be my way back in my old group, Ping Paranormal Investigators in North Georgia. We were up in an old house in Talmo, Georgia, and we were kind of going around, looking around, saying, "Oh, this place is haunted" and all that. And we were upstairs in a bedroom, and then we turned around and started leaving, and we heard this loud bang up against the wall.
Mm.
And of course, we all jumped. So what was that? So we went running in there. There was a piece of molding, probably a good, at least 10 feet long, laying in the middle of the floor. We couldn't figure out where the molding came from, who threw it, and why did they throw it? We
Mm.
we, we just couldn't ever figure that out because it wasn't there when we were in the room, and there was no loose molding. There was nothing, and then all of a sudden, here it is thrown up against the wall, laying in the floor.
Mm-hmm. And that was a house I went to.
Yeah, that was the house we went to.
How many of it was y'all there?
Uh, at the time, it was just the two investigators, just two of us, and
Yeah.
of course the people who were owning the property because they rented out the house, but nobody would ever stay there because they get scared and because of the spirits there.
Mm-hmm. Y'all able to find out what was there at all?
No, we were never able to go back. We sure weren't, and that was just, I guess it'll just be a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, I guess the third question I have is, I guess, you got, you're like most of us, like myself, you wanted to show an interest in the paranormal. It's like myself, I've gotten to be where I like to help people and things like that now. And it's almost got to be where it's like a service we provide for people. I guess, you know, what's the difference between, the way I guess your motivation or your drive, what drives you now compared to the way it did back when you first started? Like for me, when I first started doing this, it was just all about, what was out there and just capturing the fun evidence. Now I don't really pretty much care a whole lot if I get anything. It's all about trying to find out the answers, myself. So what difference is it from when you first started to now, or is it the same?
Well, when I first started, it was all about going out and getting, finding ghosts and getting scared and trying to catch something on audio or video, not not to try to get on TV or anything, just for the thrill of it, I guess, would
Yeah.
be the best way to put it. Now, I think it's kind of a little bit of mixture of both for me, because really it's kind of continuously evolving for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love if somebody needs help, I love going out and helping them. I mean, because they're scared, they don't know what to do sometimes, and they talk to other people or family members or you know churches, and oh, you're crazy, or it's the devil, or there's something wrong with you. You need to get straightened out because the devil's after you.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. No, that's not always the case.
Right. Right.
And they need help. They need somebody to help them, and I like to help them to the best of my ability. I won't always have the answer, but I just, if I'm able to do something, then I will.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that, groups like us, we don't charge for what we do. And, it's just our goodness of our time, and same thing for that. But yeah, um, if you was to be asked by I know I get this asked all the time, like if a young, 18-year-old boy came up to you and said, Jeremy, I like to get involved in this sort of thing or whatever, what kind of advice could you give somebody that wants to get started into doing this that would like, show an interest in paranormal, whatever? What kind of advice would you like to give?
Well, first, I'd probably ask them why they want to get into this. What's the reasoning behind it?
Hmm.
And then, based on the conversation, I would direct them on how to get started, give them some tips, some advice. I might go meet or something like go meet other people that investigate or try to get into a more established group and just learn because in this field there are no experts, quote unquote,
Hmm.
because I mean, it's all about the research, it's all about learning, it's all about evolving. It's because you're always learning something new. There's always something different out there, and you've got to, you've got to be prepared for
Right,
it.
right. Yeah, it's like me, my biggest thing is like, what's your reason why you want to do this? Like you said, what's the reason behind it? You know,
Mm-hmm.
my feelings are if you don't have a really good feeling or a good reason, like, if your heart isn't in a good place in doing this, you're not going to really, you know, go very far in this field. There's so many groups that there's a lot of groups out there that are just about capturing evidence. But if you get to be where you actually provide a service for people and you're actually helping people, you're going to get a lot more better evidence and you're going to get, a lot better things happen for you, like helping people and things like that. And that's a good answer. I guess another question I want to ask you is that, these questions and everything is pretty much just to show the public about, what we're about and yourself, you're about, and trying to educate everybody. And some of these questions I get asked myself all the time by people.
Mm-hmm.
And some people tell me all the time, say, Scott, you're crazy. Why you do this for? And so that's a question I have for you, I guess, is that what keeps you motivated to keep doing this, and what's the reason why? And also, I guess the second part of this question is what would you like to see happen for the future, like anything that you can think of?
Well, before I answer that, I wanted to expand on your other question a little bit. There's also another side, along with helping people. Sometimes spirits need help too.
Right,
Sometimes they'll come to people or they'll come to you, and they actually need help,
right,
and you just need to help them, just like with the living, I guess. You just help them to the best of your ability, and don't be afraid to ask for help. If you need other investigators, you need psychic mediums to come help you.
hmm,
You can do that too. There's nothing wrong with asking for help.
yeah,
It's not about, to me, it's not about fame. It's not about being on TV or radio or anything else. So, but yeah, you know, I don't know what I would like to see in the future, honestly.
that's like me. I'm excited about how the ITC work, like the spirit
Yeah.
boxes and all. I like to see a TV version where you actually can see the images on a TV screen because ITC has been around for a long time, and they've gotten big where you actually can point a camera towards a TV, and people have gotten images. This is from like years ago. Some of the first paranormal investigators ever. They use those, which they use this called white noise background too.
Hmm.
But I've heard that there's people out there working on a TV version of it, and that would be amazing to have something like that. And
Yeah, that's a good point. I really wasn't thinking about that, but I love that. ITC work, especially, the guy, the Steve Huff,
Hmm.
all his sessions that he does on YouTube. It's just amazing the responses he gets and
Hmm.
the number of spirits that just come talk to him.
Right,
It's
right,
incredible.
right. Oh yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, up until right now, it's amazing how much we've grown as far as ITC, the spirit boxes. I mean, it's only been what 10 years. I've only been introduced to it only five years.
Hmm.
It was 5 years ago when I had my first experience. You know, believing in these spirit boxes. Up until then, I didn't believe much into it. But when you do this field, the more you into it, like we do so much. You know, after a while, you're gonna be proven. What is fact, what is not fact. And yeah, as far as another question I have is that people ask me all the time is, um, I guess you can answer this if you want to answer it, or if you don't. It's kind of a tough question as far as like religion. You know,
Hmm.
as people ask me all the time as far as like, I guess I can kind of start it off a little bit because it's kind of tough. It's kind of a tough question, but it's always the number one second question I get asked all the time. Is that, well, Scott, I come from a background, either Baptist, Methodist, you know, grew up in Catholic church or whatever. And a lot of people think that, these things that we're seeing are just flat out demons and things that we shouldn't be getting involved in. And I'll answer a little bit about what I pretty much say. That way I won't be putting you on the spot because it's a tough question. And I struggle with it today, even today, how to answer it. And the best answer I do is like, I don't have really answers at all. I just pretty much say what I was raised to have an open mind. My mother taught me to say, Scott, you just go out and see the world and you see what's out there for yourself, and you experience different religions and you learn about different religions and you'll learn about that. So I pretty much feel that I just know that, from my experience, that I can distinguish what is demonic and what is just regular human spirits, even though sometimes demonic can pretty much manipulate pretty bad, and so you got to be careful. But that's just a little bit about what I share. But if you're welcome to answer. If you don't want to, that it doesn't matter. Just about what your feelings are, about that.
Right. Yeah, my feelings about that have changed a lot
Yeah,
because I'm raised Southern Baptist, like real Southern Baptist, um,
yeah,
just didn't talk about that stuff or believe about that stuff. Yeah, it was in the Bible, but it kind of tiptoed around stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, when I started this, and like I said, it's just evolved, and there for probably a good year. In the middle of all this, I really struggled. I almost just walked away from this completely because it was in such conflict.
Really, I didn't know that.
I believed, yeah, oh yeah. I
Really?
mean, this has been years and years ago,
Oh, I thought it
and
was
that
recent. I'm sorry, misunderstood
no,
you.
it's not recent. It's probably,
Yeah,
I don't know, 2009, 2010 or something like that. I really struggled with it, but I mean, there's more than what's taught in church. There's church, and then there's religion and spiritual stuff, and I mean my mind is just open. I mean, I know there's angels, demons, ghosts, spirits. I mean, they talk about it in the Bible. They talk about ghosts and demons and spirits. And when somebody asked me one time, how can you do this and be a Christian? My response is the same I just gave. All this stuff that was in the Bible, just because it's 2000 whatever, does that mean that stuff just doesn't exist anymore?
right. Yeah,
I mean, of course it does.
yeah,
And I've experienced more in the past few years than I thought I would ever imagine. Do I understand all of it? No, Is it scary sometimes? Sure. But, I love what I do, and as long as I'm alive, I'm never going to stop doing this.
That's a good answer, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like me personally, people ask me that all the time, and I've even been judged that I shouldn't be getting involved in this, that everything is demonic, which,
Yep.
it's not my place, it's not anybody's place to judge but God Himself, and that I'm not here to cast judgment on anybody, saying that what we do is the only way. And I pretty much feel that everybody has their own right, their own privilege to their own beliefs, everything. And you're like me. We treat this group like an open book, and anybody's welcome to come, as long as they're have an open mind. And it's all about having an open mind and wanting to experience what is out there. And I've never been the kind of person to say this is fact, that's fact. Every every case that I do, I still have more answers, or I have more questions. Because but the one thing I do say is that, well, before I did this work, I never went to church. But now that I've been involved in this, I try to go to church as much as possible,
Mm.
because I've seen proof out there that God exists. I've seen proof that, to me, Jesus exists. I know the angels exist. And so I look at the positive in what we do, and I don't try to cast judgment and say what we do is fact, because, even though I do feel what we do is fact, but I feel that what we do is not. I'm not trying to push what we do on anybody, but anybody's welcome to come and have their own experiences. In other words,
Yeah.
um, and that's all I basically want to do. And but like I say, I've always been an open-minded kind of person myself, and that's why I have this group. That's why I named it Inner Light, because I try to keep the light, bring the light, which is the light of God, into this group where it's positive, and we do the angel work, and we do help spirits, and we bring, I feel we do bring God into this in some way. So if you don't, then I feel like you could be in trouble, because
Yeah.
if you don't have a good positive background, a good I guess a good protection behind you in the group, you're going to get hurt, because a lot of people in this field can get seriously hurt if they don't have any kind of protection, because you never know what you're going to get involved in this kind of work. So but yeah, I'll have a couple more questions for you, Jeremy, and then you can just talk about whatever you want to talk about. We can just chit chat, whatever.
Okay.
I know you and I talked about keeping it PG-13 rated, and
Yeah.
I know Earl, he's usually the one that gets things stirred up, so we'll blame it on him usually. But we like to have a lot of fun, in this group. And one of the things that we've learned is that when we're in investigations, that and I'm kind of leading up to a question here,
Mhm.
is that the more we've done this work, I know when I first started doing it, I started watching the TV shows, and of course I know they've changed too, like Ghost Hunters, and they would just go out and ask like a robot. To me, it was like a robot asking basic questions. What is your name? Who are you? And I'm not bashing Ghost Hunters. I love Ghost Hunters. They're awesome. They're the first group that on TV I really looked up to learn. But I know that they, you know, um, as far as their way is a little bit different style. I feel like everybody has their own style about this kind of field. But we've learned that you don't have to provoke stuff to get activity. And we do more lighthearted, fun kind of things, like cracking jokes and making fun of each other, ourselves, and just making it fun. And when we do that, we get a lot more activity. It's more positive stuff. And that's like usually when we do investigations, a lot of times you get better evidence when you're just talking amongst yourselves, and you make it fun for them to interact with us. But
Mhm.
I guess one of the last few questions I have is that, what is I guess, what's your favorite kind of style of investigating? I guess that's like me personally. I like to mix it up with using the spirit box, and stuff like that to get them to interact. But what is your favorite kind of style? Whether it mean what kind of favorite equipment or whatever you would like to answer. I guess what I was trying to say is, what's your favorite style that works for you, that you get better evidence usually, that you've seen. Some people do provoke, and we don't. I don't believe in that at all. Sometimes it warrants doing a little bit of that. It just depends on the situation, but you know what you feel works good for you.
I can agree with that. I don't provoke like I used to, but I will in certain
Right.
yeah, I will in certain situations
Yeah,
if it warrants that, I will a little bit.
yeah,
But I don't know that I have a set style. I like to go in, you know, serious with a little bit of lighthearted, because like you said, you got to have a little fun too. That
right.
way, especially the first time, if you go into a place the first time, and you, I guess, get the spirit's attention or whatever, and they're like, "Whoa, what are these people doing here? Maybe we need to go talk to them. Looks like they're having a good time. They're
Yeah, why are they asking us these questions for? Who is that
yeah,
person? Yeah, it's kind of like
right,
putting them on the spot. It's like nobody. But when you talk amongst ourselves and you make it fun, it makes it fun for them to talk as well.
right. And I don't know that I have a favorite piece of equipment. I kind of wish I had a SLS camera, but I don't. Um,
Well, we got two members in the group got them now.
yeah. I like using Spirit Box, and I've really enjoyed here lately using my app on my phone, the Portal app.
Portal app, yeah.
I've gotten a lot of good stuff, a lot of good responses with that, and I also enjoy seeing some of the, I guess, what other people would call the older stuff, like the cassette recorders and the
Mm-hmm.
Polaroid cameras coming back.
Mm-hmm.
People are using them again. That's great because to me, you got to have a mixture sometimes of, I guess, old stuff and new stuff because it seems to work.
Yeah, whatever works.
Hmm.
Usually we try a lot of different stuff, and there people just should just understand that you know when you're dealing with spirits, not demonic, um, they're just like us, and a lot of times they're shy and they're quiet and they're scared because they have no idea who we are. And so when you make it fun, or to try to also finding the history out to the place and getting the name of the people that used to live there, that could be there, just find some kind of common ground where they can relate to us and they'll feel more comfortable talking to us, what it basically boils down to. And a lot of times we get them saying, help me or whatever like that. So, also, I guess another question I've been wanting to ask you is another fun one. I know we've done a lot of fun places, but on your list, what's the list of some places that you like to go to that's reasonable, that don't, I know I personally love to go to like Europe and stuff like that, but I know I'll probably never get the chance to go to places like Europe. I always leave hope, but places that you like to go to, some of your top ones that you like to go investigate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably like just stick to here, North America, because I've been to a lot of places I thought I'd never get to go to. Like I've been to the Queen Mary out in California. I've been to Gettysburg in Pennsylvania.
I've never been in those two places, so you're doing better than I am.
I mean, I didn't investigate at either place. I just went, but
Yeah.
just being there,
Hmm.
both of those, especially Gettysburg, you can just
Hmm.
tell, and
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite places is going to battlefields.
Right.
And I mean, I've been some places in Savannah. I've been, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, everywhere. I it's just great. Any opportunity to go to any of these places
Yeah.
to go. I guess the number one on my bucket list right now is probably Bobby Mackey's.
Mackey's.
I
I don't
want
know
to
if I'd go in there or not, man. I probably would let y'all go. I'd probably stay outside. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence about that one. I would for sure probably go there, but I would go inside and have a drink or whatever. But I don't know. I'd have to go there and kind of check it out for a little bit. It's
Yeah,
it's it's on the fence for me, but I would love to at least go there and see see what I pick up on. Um, but yeah, that's like myself. I it's weird because about 2 weeks ago I've been getting these feelings. I've been um, feeling about funeral homes, and I felt
mm,
like that we're going to be involved in a funeral home sometime. And I know up until now, I've only asked a few times as far as trying to get into a funeral home, but when it comes to that, it's kind of a sensitive area, and it's all about showing respect, to families and stuff that there are there. But I have talked to people that work for hospice, like when my father was in hospice in 2012. We got to know the ladies that worked there very well, and they were very outspoken. And they actually brought it up about the ghosts and stuff that they experienced in hospice. And they actually said that they would have a priest come in like once a month and bless the whole property because they had so much stuff there. And so that's my feeling, for reason wanting to go to like a funeral home or somewhere like that because there might be, you know, spirits that need to be crossed over, need help, or could be stuck. So that's my purpose for wanting to do it. Not just to go there just to poke fun at them, nothing like that. Just to, not just to try to capture evidence. We're trying to go there to help. And I feel
right.
like some maybe something that might be asking for help that's been coming to me, because that happens a lot too as well. But I know myself that the more I've been involved in this, spirits can come to us and actually can come pick us and say, "Hey, you need to come and help me out here." And I've even had a few places where family members I didn't know about. Here recently, I was told by my um, one of my family members that a house that we investigated, a private location. I think my great uncle, second great uncle, used to own the house. Like, and we investigated the place multiple times, and we may have been one of his voices on the recorder that we got.
Mm,
I was like, dang, I had no idea. And so, to me, people just don't realize, when we do this work, the spirit world has an effect on us, how they can not really control us, but how they can come to us for help, to kind of lead us to these locations. And a lot of people don't really they don't really understand about that. And it's not about saying, what they're doing is wrong or anything like that, but it's all about people that do this kind of work. Just try to open yourselves up to the spirit world where you can allow sometimes them to come and talk to you. They can, ask for help. And
mm-hmm.
so it's pretty intense sometimes. And I know we're at about 30 minutes right now. So, but yeah, anything that you'd like to talk about at all, Jeremy, like for the future? Or, I know you've been with the group from day one, and
Yeah, it's been a long time.
like a brother, man. I tell you, sometimes we get pretty goofy on these cases, but you and Earl and the other ones, you're the few ones that I'm able to really have fun like that. And
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, what kind of things would you like to do as far as like for the group or whatever? I know, we can talk about the group a little bit. It's like we've gotten some new members on the team, and we've got a lot of good equipment and stuff like that. And I know myself, I would personally like to see the group expanding. More and more. We can go to different places, like out to Colorado, or one of my bucket lists is going out to the Goldfield Hotel, where the town is at,
Yeah.
and I'd love to go there and try to expand where, and maybe hopefully this Skype and these interviews like this can lead to meeting new people and meeting new places and can get us out there a little bit more. But you have any kind of suggestions or any of kind of thing that you like to, within the group, what we can, do for the future at all?
Well, it's kind of within the group and outside the group. I know one thing I would like to see, and fortunately, it's happening more than it used to. All these different groups out here, every once in a while, or help each other out, help another group out.
Yeah,
Don't be, don't get mad of, oh, I went here, now you're going here. Why are you going here? This is my place. I'm investigating it. You
right.
don't need to be here. Don't no help each other. Like we
Exactly.
did something great. What? How long has that been now? A year or two? When you got with Ed's group down in Stone Mountain, and we investigated the same places at different times. Well, we ended up in a couple places we get different responses or something different when it happened. And to me, that's a great thing. That just kind of backs up everybody else's evidence. So just other groups out there, just come on, just if you need help with another group, ask. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to with it.
Yeah, it's like the biggest thing for me is that, you know, I'm not here to bash anybody in the field, but
Oh,
I
mm-mm.
have encountered people in the past, even to this day. Now, I would never name names, nothing like that, and it doesn't make them a bad person. Is that some people feel like it's either their way or no way, and you can't really think like that because the more I've been in this field, that God creates us all, each person to be different, and there's more than one way to investigate. As long as you're doing it in a respectful way, there's lots of ways you can investigate. Lots of ways, and groups like us should be helping each other and learning. And I've actually uh, give cases to some people that I know of the groups before. When I know that that's like here recently, I give a couple of cases to some groups, and because I know these groups that I know of are really good groups, and so you really need to help each other, and it shouldn't be about saying this is my location like that at all. And we do have cases right now where the people do consider us being the main group, but excuse me, we do allow other people in there, but as long as you're respectful to the spirits. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the main thing people don't realize is that the spirits are there at the house or the places we're at, and they're our main priority. Because if you come into a place just investigating, doing whatever you want to do, and don't have respect for them, you're either going to piss them off, get them upset, or they're going to leave. And then once they're gone, then these dark things could come in on the people and the clients, and it could lead to so many bad things. And so that's why it's always good groups like us to help each other and network, and not just be secretive and say, oh, this is my place, and it shouldn't be about that at all. And we all should have fun and help each other, basically.
Yeah,
And
like this weekend, going with Earl's group, Nighthawk Paranormal, to
yeah,
a location in Tennessee. We're going to investigate a location and have a little fun and see each other because we don't get to see each other that much. It's going to be great.
yeah, we'll get a little bit crazy and all, but
Yep,
we keep it fun though. It's harmless fun.
it
And
is.
we don't do any kind of drugs, nothing like that. We might have one or two beers at the most, but usually I don't never drink much myself. I know you don't, and but we're just harmless fun. Um, but yeah, it's all about getting together, and I know it's like you and Earl and a lot of Teresa and everyone else in the group. I treat everybody almost like family because we're so close, and you have a relationship with each other. It makes it fun when you can network and do these cases like this. And I like to mix it up and go to these fun places where we're not always doing just the private location, because they can be kind of um, I guess it can kind of take a toll a little bit after a while. And you say, well, you want to mix it up, but I know we all love helping the clients and everything like that. But it's always good to have the fun ones
Yep.
where you can just kind of let loose, and it can be all about the evidence and just having fun. But we're, no matter where we go, we're always very respectful, We try to be for the spirits and whatever's there, and all. So, but what about another question I got for? We still got a little bit of time here. What about like places that you lived at, Jeremy? What about places where you lived at personally, where you've had like personal experiences? I know another question that I get asked a lot, and this is very good information for other people that would like to get involved in this kind of work. It's one of the number one um, things that people need to realize that these things can't follow us home. And so I've had things, in the past, which it's been probably 5, 6 years since I've ever really had anything come with me home, but nothing is in a long time following me. But sometimes, things can follow us home. I know you've had some stuff in the past, but maybe you want to elaborate if you want to talk a little bit about that if you'd like to or something.
I mean, growing up, not really had anything like that at a home. I guess I was debating whether or not to share this or not, because only two people know about this, and my great grandmother went to heaven a long time ago, so there's only one person left that knows about this. When I was younger at her house, I saw somebody walk from the kitchen into the dining room, and I saw from the knee down, down to the foot. I know exactly what this person was wearing. I saw it. It was a pair of blue coveralls. It was a work boot. And then I turned around and asked my great grandmother, what's I said my uncle. I said, "What's my uncle doing here? I thought he was at work. I thought he left. I just saw somebody walk from the kitchen to the dining room." So she went in there and looked. She said, "There's nobody here." I said, "Well, somebody just walked in there. Who who was there?
Was this your
Who's in the
first
dining room?"
experience ever?
Do I?
Was this your first experience ever?
I'm trying to think. I would
That's
have
kind
to
of a
say,
tough question to answer, I
yeah,
guess.
prob- probably yes. My first real experience, and see, I've never told anybody this experience before.
Wow.
But going forward, my previous house before we moved into this one, we had spirits there. I mean, almost constantly. I think they were kind of just passing through. I mean, we hadn't even moved in yet, and we were already having activity and hearing spirits. And usually, about every night when we went to bed, I could hear people talking in the living room. It was kind of like having the TV on, but turned real low. You could hear people talking, but you couldn't understand what they were saying.
You said this is
And
your
that,
grandmother's house?
no, this was later on. This is
Oh,
our
okay.
old house in Buford.
Okay. Buford,
So
yeah.
we had lots of experience. We haven't had anything here in the
Yeah.
new place. I kind of, when we were moving out, I tried to ask the spirits. I said, if any of y'all want to come over to the new place, come on. We'd
Yeah.
love to have you, but they decided to stay there. So, and I haven't heard anything. I don't know if the new owners experienced anything or not. I've always been kind of curious about that.
Wow. So, you think that was it this a couple of times that happened? Did you feel the negative at all, or did it kind
No,
of scare
nothing,
you?
nothing negative. No,
Yeah.
not there. I mean, or at least not the spirits there. The spirits that were there, 99% of the time, nothing negative. But there
Yeah.
were a few instances that maybe I'll go into in the future, but you know probably not enough time to talk about it tonight and to really give it
Maybe
justice.
for
But
another session.
yeah, another
Yeah.
another time, another session
Yeah.
for some of that.
Exactly, man. What's your best evidence that you've gotten so far? Like, like myself, I got that last year. I got that growling sound, and I got that full body apparition, which was freaking awesome. What's your best evidence up to this date that's your favorite that you've gotten?
Well, I don't know if I have any evidence right now because I still use the recorder occasionally. I'll use a camera, but I mostly use the spirit box and just the responses that I can get sometimes.
Yeah,
It's great. And then just the experiences in general. I mean, the things that I see sometimes and stuff that I feel. I mean, because, the number one piece of equipment you have is your body. Your body knows. There's something there, something going on, temperature changes. I mean, I think sometimes I get a little bit too wrapped up and too focused on the equipment in my hands to just kind of just stop and just feel and just wait. Because if you're experiencing something that's happening, you might miss it because you're sitting here looking at a K2 meter, or you got your headphones on listening in a spirit box, you know?
right, right. Yeah, because my feelings are that the more we do this, more I've been doing this, the spirits can actually teach us how to communicate with them. And sometimes, if they, it's like I don't claim to be a psychic medium, but I know we all, even yourself, you picked up on things, and me as well sometimes. But it kind of depends on if I'm feeling okay that day. If I'm a little bit off, if I don't feel too good, I don't pick up anything at all. But if I'm feeling good, I'm excited, um, I'm having a good day, then sometimes the spirits can, are more comfortable, I feel, wanting to communicate with me because, we're all basically energy. And, if our energy is off a little bit, if we've had a bad day, then they might be a little hesitant, want us to kind of, you know, sense them,
Mm-hmm.
So, well, that's cool, Jeremy. We got a few minutes left. And I guess one of the most important questions I wanted to ask you, and after this, you can just talk about whatever if you want to, and um, if I know, I say 90% of the cases that we do, um, I guess to like the last 7 years is people call us for help, and this is my one of my reasons why I'm doing these videos so people can see who we are and what we're about, and where people can, because usually people that contact me, they're terrified, and it's like one of the questions I ask them is that, well, you know, what exactly, is going on. And so, if you want to try to explain a little bit, like if you're, so the people that are out there, maybe people are experiencing things, if you wanted to say a little bit that could make them feel a little bit better about if they're going through experiences, what they can do, like the first few steps, what they can do as far as how to deal with this thing. If you want to talk a little bit about that, you can, if you like.
Well, I guess one thing I can think of if people are having experiences is, become your own investigator. Get a tape recorder or get a camera, or, and maybe a camera or some kind of camera, or, do your own investigating. Just see if you get any kind of evidence and to find out what may or may not be going on. And, if you're able to, do some research, maybe the property or the house or something. And but if you're uncomfortable or unsure about that, you can reach out to a group like us. Be more than happy to come talk to you, or if you want us to, we'll investigate. And we have people who do the research in our group, and we're happy to help. Or if we can't help you or unable to, we can reach out to other groups and say, hey, we have this case, we're having a little bit of difficulty, can you help us? And we'll do everything that we can to help in any way we can.
Yeah, and even us, a group like us, we can't, help everybody, and so that's the reason why I'm starting these videos. Is that maybe some groups can say, hey, maybe this group got a good point about it, because that's how I've learned. That's how you've learned is from other groups watching on TV, because there are some good TV shows out there that can educate the public. There are, even though there are some out there that are just for show and fun. But this is one way, we all can learn and grow. But the number one thing that I tell my clients is don't overreact, and just kind of calm down, and just take a step back, and just take a breath, in other words, and just know that I know you've been doing this for a long time, and I have too, and I've been involved in almost like 1,500 plus cases, and I'm okay. I'm still here. We've been involved in some really pretty serious things, and that's just the number one thing people just need to understand is that don't, um, I guess, just don't try to make things worse, and just try to be calm about it, and try to look for groups like us out there. Whether it be if you're in Kentucky or whatever, because there's groups out there. There's lots of them. I know there. I met a bunch of them. And if you can't find any, they can contact us, and if we're not available, we'll find somebody, because there are a lot of groups out there that are just like us, and it can be a scary thing, especially if children are involved in getting these things, because a lot of times people will contact me, it is children that are getting the brunt of it, because they're going through stress of, um, they just don't they're going through a lot of stress of life. They don't know how to deal with these things, and so they're scared to talk about it with friends at school, and they're scared to talk about it with anybody. They just don't get talking in society, and that's why people like us are out here to be a place for people like that to come and talk. And but that's the number one thing is that because usually a good percentage of our cases we get involved in, it's not as serious as people think it is, even though there are a small percentage that do have some negative things. But majority of the time, we can either try to debunk stuff, or we can try to come out, and it doesn't take a whole lot to get either the spirits to calm down, or help the situation, because there's a lot involved in. So, but we got about 5 minutes left, Jeremy. If you want to talk about anything else at all, if you want to talk about the weekend or whatever, you're welcome. This is your platform, If you want to say anything at all, if you want to say anything to the public, or anything at all.
No, I'm just looking forward to this weekend, man. I'm ready to see everybody. Go have
Yeah,
some
wait.
fun.
I'm gonna give you and Earl a big hug for sure.
Yep, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I, yeah. I've been grateful for the experience we've had in the past. It's been I call them adventures, and because this every place we've been to, it's like the one we did back in October in Alabama.
Hmm.
Remember we did had the one creepy house across the street that had the old store or whatever that was, the museum. We had a lot of stuff happen there, and like we went into that house, and we're all walking around, and the K2 meter goes off like crazy in that one little spot, and it was just like bam, a lot of activity, and all of a sudden it was just gone. It was like the K2 meter and the millimeter, and I think your what is that meter that you have, the tri-field meter, or what is the one you have that lights up?
Oh, that gray box, that EDI meter,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah, I think that one's going off too.
Yeah,
No, but all of a sudden it just stopped, and but every case we do is an adventure, even the ones we don't get much evidence, it's always a venture somehow, like we went to Briarfield that time and we froze our butts off.
yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And but yeah, it's more than just going out investigating. It's all about camaraderie and meeting friends, and getting to experience the history of these places that we go to. And because we've dealt with, like, Confederate soldiers, a lot of the places we've done. I know I've actually Been to houses where like Jefferson Davis lived at. I mean, famous people, you know. But it's pretty it's addictive, you know. The more I get into this, and this it's one of the kind of things. It's like wow, it's pretty amazing, you know. It's a lot of fun. So
Yep.
well, that was cool, man. Thank you for your time and all, Jeremy. And
Oh,
but
glad to be here.
yeah, but I know this was a little bit kind of tough to do, and I know you're not the
Yeah.
kind of interview kind of person, but you did good, man, and I'm proud of you. And but I'd like to do more of these, and we're going to be doing a lot more in the future, and hope we get some pretty famous people on here if they want to come talk to us, and
Yeah.
because that's what we're here for. We're here to learn and share this for the public, you know, and be a lot of fun. So if there's any last little thing you want to say, Jeremy, or we'll leave, you're welcome to.
If anybody in there that needs our help, go to our Facebook page at Interlight Paranormal or on the web, interlightparanormal.com. And, if you're out there in Alabama, West Georgia, you need help out there, check out Nighthawks, Earl Bryant. They're on Facebook. They'll help you too.
Yeah, and that's and usually that's even like historic places. You know, we're all about historic places, and we're very respectful of those. Anybody like this for us to go out there as well, you know, just let us know. But yeah, we're gonna have a good time this weekend, Jeremy, and we're hoping we can do a little bit of Facebook Live on here because it's a well-known location, you know, and so. Well, thanks so much, Jeremy, and this was a lot of fun, and
You're welcome. Yeah, it was fun.
maybe again, maybe next time we have you back on, we'll have some even more experiences we talk about. You know, it'll be a lot of fun to because that's the thing for me is that you know I never get the chance to share what stuff I've seen, and this
Mhm.
is one good outlet to talk about it where people can say, hey, maybe that is pretty interesting. You know what we've experienced. You know, and
Yep.
so all right, man. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy, and hope you have a good night, man.
All right. See you
We'll see
this
you
weekend,
later.
man.
Peace out, man.
See ya.